Welcome to the Scene Podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Scene Podcast. I am so excited to be back. I'm here with my friend KJ, the producer and editor. KJ, how you doing?
Justin Borek. Good to see you. It's a good start to 2024.
Awesome. Well, I'm not going to kill any time. This is the Scene Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Borek, and let's get right into the first segment. KJ, let's go.
Shows you should know.
Thank you, KJ. We are back. This is my favorite segment of the entire show. It Shows You Should Know because I'm a huge nerd and I love talking about plays. But the only thing that makes Shows You Should Know better is when I bring on our guest, our resident hot girl, our resident brilliant feminist theater icon. It's Liz Guttridge. Liz, how are you?
And she enters in a beautiful pink gown and feathers are falling from the sky and sparkles and everybody's like, wow.
Liz is my partner. Liz is also a theater content creator. You can find her on TikTok at Lizizzle. You can also just look up Liz Guttridge. But Liz is someone who coined the hot girl theater market. She has a series on Cha-ching, baby. She's a series on TikTok that's pretty famous. You might have heard of it, called Hot Girl Plays You Should Read. And we talked about it on the first episode you were on, but a hot girl play is defined as like feminist theater, female forward theater. Like it doesn't matter actually about like the gender specifically or like hotness and like attractiveness factor. It's about like female driven art and theater.
Hot girl is just a vibe. Anybody can be a hot girl if they want to be.
Hot girl's a vibe. And
I'm
Liz has
welcoming
coined
everyone to the club of hot girls who read plays.
And Liz has coined hot girl theater, hot girl plays. So when we have Liz on, that means that our Shows You Should Know this week is actually going to be hot girls, or the hot girls shows you should know.
Wow! They're so hot. Look at them. They're so pretty and hot. Yay!
Oh, I love having Lizzie on. She's one of my favorite people in the world for a million reasons, but also I think she is an expert in this really cool theater field that I don't get to fully know. But I know we have a lot of teachers, we have a lot of academics, and we have a lot of like professionals listening in that probably don't know a ton about the like younger female theater driven, or the younger theater female driven market. And that's like Liz's bread and butter.
You said a lot of nice things about me. I'm overwhelmed.
Well, then let's jump right in.
Okay.
I know you have two, I have one, so why don't you start off? What's the first hot girl play you want to give me today?
Okay, the first hot girl play I will be giving you today, Justin, is If Pretty Hurts, Ugly Must Be a Bad Word.
Mother effer.
Bad word that I'm not allowed to say on here.
We're not going to...
By Tori Sampson.
Tell me about the play.
The play is set in... It's based off of old African folktale, and it's set in Nigeria. It's about these young women who are basically competing with each other just in life about who is the most beautiful woman in town, and it goes to this one woman and everyone's like, oh, this woman is the most beautiful person in town, and all the other girls are like, what about me? And it's amazing and beautiful, and it gets freaking crazy. And
I haven't read this yet, but it sounds like a really good allegory for like beauty standards and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are some wonderful, beautiful monologues for women of color about like just the pressure that is put on and the competition that is implemented upon women, like to be the most beautiful and to have that guy's attention, or you know, be the best in class, or this and this and that. And it is just like, it's crazy because like it is a African folktale, which I don't know much about African folktales, but it's just like the most universal like
story,
pain and jealousy and anger, and oh, I love juicy stuff like that. I love to play.
This play was like one of those ones that like, because we're in a relationship and we both love plays, we do play halls all the time, and I think this is one that I bought you, right?
Yes, you did. I love it so much.
It's
a good find.
No, yeah, it's a killer find, and it's a play that I hadn't heard of before I got it for you. So if you're teaching a class, or if you want to bring more women of color who are playwrights into your class, like Tori Sampson is brilliant. This is a wonderful play. It's smart, it's funny, it's great for young women to read because it has this allegory of beauty standards. Yeah.
I think it's so important to bring like different views of the world and see how just similar they are everywhere.
Tell us the title again.
If Pretty Hurts, Ugly Must Be a Bad Word.
Mother effer by Tori Sampson.
It's such a wonderful play.
Brilliant play. Okay, I'm going to give you one. This is my hot girl play that I'm giving for the day, because this is a hot girl playwright who I love more than anything in the world. Well, actually, she's the second one, and you're actually taking the playwright that I love more than I think.
Spoil it.
But we're gonna get there.
Up.
I'm talking about Bess Wool. I love Bess Wool so much. I think she's brilliant, and one of my favorite plays she's ever written is American Hero. American Hero was slightly inspired by a person who took their own life, and in their note that they wrote before they did that, they recognized their job at Quiznos as being a large part of why they did such a thing.
My service girlies.
It's a lot about service work, and it's like a little bit of absurdism of like how painful it can be. Bess Wool plays really well with like absurdism and silence and stuff like that, and she plays really well in this play of that. But the play itself is just a couple people who work in a sandwich shop and are just going through the daily grind and the awful, awful struggle of working in the service industry. It's wonderful. There's killer monologues. There's a monologue in here by Gregory that I do all the time for auditions. I'm blowing up my spot. But I think it's just an amazing play. It's really, really good. American Hero by Bess Wool. Also another really, really good play by Bess Wool, Camp Siegfried.
She's got so many good things.
She's
and
killing.
Pretty Filthy.
Pretty Filthy. Yeah, she
Also
wrote
Bess
the.
Wool.
There was a musical that the Civilians made that was based off of interviews from the San Fernando Valley in the porn industry, and Bess Wool was the book writer, and it is wonderful. So check out that soundtrack
Hot
too
girl
if you want to.
musical.
That's a hot girl musical right there. But anything by Bess Wool, but American Hero is just one of my favorite plays ever.
Oh, good
All right,
stuff.
close it out, Liz. Give us your last one.
Okay, baby, let's take it home. Our third play we will be talking about today is John by Annie Baker. Yeah, I know.
We only have a
Justin
couple
loves
minutes,
Annie
but
Baker.
I could talk about it for years.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so John by Annie Baker is my favorite freaking Annie Baker play.
So good.
It is about a couple who is vacationing in a small historic town in Pennsylvania. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Shout out Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Shout out Gettysburg, PA.
Lots of B&Bs, and this takes place in a B&B there. And it's about this couple staying at this very, very eclectic B&B. So if
Jenny
you're like
and
a
Elias.
Jenny and Elias. So if you're a spooky girl, you are gonna love this play. If you just want to grow up to be an old withered witch woman, read this play because that's me. And I.
There's a jump scare in this play.
There's a jump scare
Towards the end with the murders.
Oh, that's so real.
It's really, really
Shut
good.
up, artist.
I love this play. I think Annie Baker, like, she has two different styles for me. She has like the shoot the crap style of play, and then she has where it's just like really long and there's a lot of like slow conversation, and then she has like the big group play where it's one room, a big group, and they all are talking a lot and it's a little bit quicker. This play plays in the middle of that because it's only 4 people. It's really slow moving, but it's not super long, and I think the slowness of the text of Annie Baker stuff really plays well with the two older women in the show. The same thing with her new play Infinite Life. There's a lot of older women in the show. I think she just writes for women over 60 really well.
And that is a niche market in theater.
Dude, that's a hot girl play right there.
That is a hot girl play.
When you're writing a play for like Infinite Life had like 4 women that were over the age of 60. Oh, Annie Baker's a hot girl play.
She gets it.
She's a hot woman playwright.
Absolutely. And I think it's different from any of her other plays, the way that the relationships are structured. Like, it was just very clear to me that I was like, oh, this is what this is about, and this is how these people are feeling. And, like, again, the use of one location. I've never read a play where the characters leave and have scenes in another room that you just don't get to see.
You don't get to see it.
That's the smartest, coolest. I was like,
It's
what?
awesome. I wish I got to see
amazing.
this play with all like the tchotchkes and the way it's set up, like the Airbnb.
And I love a set that has a lot,
Of
like
stuff.
things that I want to touch. And
I really want to write a play set in the antique store, and I feel like this is the
I'd
closest
be
thing to that.
I'd be just touching everything.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You'd be like, stop, you're gonna break the glass. I wouldn't care.
Lizzie, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love
This
having
is so
you on
much
the
fun.
show. Make sure you go follow Liz on TikTok and on
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
Make sure you follow her on TikTok. She has amazing content. If you like my stuff and you have students, you have friends, you're a young woman yourself listening to this, Liz is a person you need to know and you need to hear. And I'm not just saying that because I love her so much.
Nice. You just think I'm pretty.
I do very much, but I also think you're brilliant.
Thank you.
So thank you, Liz, for hopping on this episode of KJ. Let's keep on going.
Go KJ.
Theater in a minute.
That's right. It's time for Theater in a Minute, where I explain something from theater past, present, or future as quickly as my brain lets me. Today's topic, I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I'm very, very excited. Today's topic is Wicked. We gotta talk about one of the most influential musicals of all time, okay? So KJ, let's get into it. Start the clock in 3, 2, 1. Wicked is a renowned Broadway musical based on the novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. Premiering in 2003, the musical was composed by Stephen Schwartz and with a book by Winnie Holzman. Okay, the story centers around the unlikely friendship between Elphaba, the misunderstood green-skinned witch of the West, the Wicked Witch of the West, obviously, and Glinda, the Good Witch, long before Dorothy's arrival in the land of Oz. Set against the backdrop of the iconic The Wizard of Oz, Wicked explores themes of friendship, acceptance, and the nature of good and evil. The musical delves into Elphaba's journey from her days at Shiz University, where she meets Glinda, to her transformation into the infamous Wicked Witch of the West. The narrative weaves in elements that challenges the perceptions of characters and events from the original Oz story. It offers like a new perspective on what makes someone truly wicked or good, hence the title. Basically, the musical is trying to make you think, have a little empathy for Elphaba, and look at the way that she kind of came up. It's a really wonderful... We never see biopics on villains. You know what I mean? Like, we always see the biopic on Cinderella, the biopic on Elvis, the biopic on these huge, larger-than-life characters, but you don't see too many on the villain, other than maybe, like, the new Cruella de Vil movie. So, relax. Pretend that one doesn't exist, okay? Wicked was the original, let's look at this villain, and let's give it a little bit of text, let's give it a little bit of context, and let's have a little bit of empathy for the Wicked Witch of the West. Wicked has garnered critical acclaim for its storytelling, impressive music, elaborate costumes, and stunning set design. We all know The Bubble. We've all seen Kristen Chenoweth in The Bubble, okay? It has become one of the longest-running and most beloved Broadway shows, captivating audiences from around the world with its imaginative take on the classic tale and its powerful messages of empowerment and understanding. Wicked the Musical is, I personally think, one of the most important musicals ever made. And it's not just because I'm an absolute nerd and an absolute stan of that beautiful girl with the green skin. Oh, I love Wicked so much. Idina Menzel makes me cry every single time I listen to her sing. And yeah, Wicked is no different. I love it a lot. That was Wicked. You know, I usually don't nerd out on like one show for Theater in a Minute, but I'm pretty proud to say I've nerded out about Wicked for 3 straight minutes on a podcast. And without further ado, let's move on.
Have you subscribed to Broadway Book Club? Click the link in the show notes to see how you can get your favorite plays straight to your door. Subscribe annually to get new themes each quarter, or choose from our specialty curated collections. What are you waiting for? Head to the show notes for more information on Broadway Book Club.
All right, everybody, we've been having a lot of fun, but I know why you're here. Justin, go give me content to read. Give me content to watch. I know what you want, and that's why this is the Pro Shot Pick'em. That's right, I'm going to give you 3 Pro Shots that you need to watch. If you haven't, here's the thing. These 3 I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't watched them, they are 3 of my absolute favorite Pro Shots in existence right now. They are amazing. So let's get into it. First off, are you a comedy nerd? Okay, I have one for you. It's called Oh Hello on Broadway. It's on Netflix. The show centers on Gil Faison and George St. Gleeland. I'm so sorry, Geegland. They're elderly men from the Upper West Side of Manhattan who are known for their turtlenecks, misinformed beliefs, and tendency to say, oh, hello, in unison. That's a really bad impression. Basically, like, their rent is getting hiked up, and they're trying to figure out how to continue living in New York. This is Nick Kroll and John Mulaney. It's based off a sketch that they did on Kroll's show, The Kroll Show. It's such a good name. And it makes me laugh every single time. It is so funny. It is just 2 dudes. It's okay. If you like SNL, if you like sketch comedy, if you like character-based stuff like Key and Peele, all that, you are going to love it. It is on Netflix. It is hilarious. It is so well shot. Oh Hello on Broadway. Do not miss this if you are a big comedy nerd. If you're a John Mulaney nerd and a Nick Kroll nerd, dude, this is something you need to watch. You probably have already seen it, but this is me saying go watch it again. This next one I'm going to talk about as a near and dear spot in my heart, Falsettos on Broadway HD. The story centers on Marvin, who has left his wife to be with a male lover, Whizzer, and struggles to keep his family together. Much of the first act explores the impact his relationship with Whizzer has had on his family. The second act explores family dynamics that evolve as he and his ex-wife plan his son's bar mitzvah, which is complicated as Whizzer comes down with an early case of AIDS. Central to the musical are the themes of like Jewish identity, gender roles, and gay life in the late 1970s and early 1980s. This musical is brilliant. It's based on, I believe, two or three musicals that William Finn had wrote: March of the Falsettos, Falsetto Land, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the last one. But Falsettos is basically a culmination of all of these works that William Finn has written. And it is a beautiful, beautiful musical. It's completely sung through. In 2016, some of the greatest Broadway stars came out to do a wonderful revival of it. Christian Boyle, Stephanie J. Block, Andrew Rannells, Branya Ranowitz, and Andrew Rosenthal, Tracy Thomas, and Betsy Wolfe. That was the cast, and they were amazing. They did the scaled down version of the show with these gray blocks that they would like brilliantly take apart and like build their settings with. The show is wonderful. I think it's maybe one of the best musical pro shots ever made. I love it so much. I was lucky enough personally. I was in one of the first regional productions after the Broadway revival. I was in the Pittsburgh production of it. I got to play Mendel, and it is just a beautiful show. It's like so meaningful. I love it so much. If you haven't watched the Falsettos, if you've watched the Falsettos pro shot, what are you doing, my doggo? You gotta go watch it, okay? Falsettos, Broadway HD, go check it out. This last one is on one of my favorite streaming services, National Theater at Home, The Crucible. Dude, this beautiful production of this play, it's so good. This is the Rain production. If you've heard of like the famous Crucible production that happened, I think in mid 2023 with the big like box, it was in the round and there was like rain that comes down. This is that. They did a pro shot of it. It is gorgeous. It is so pretty. It's well shot. I kind of half expected it to be like modernized because of like the way it looked, but director Lindsay Turner keeps it incredibly classic while making it very, very entertaining. And the reason why I bring this one up is I know personally, The Crucible was one of the first plays I ever read because you read it in high school. Like it's a play that is like brought to you to an English teacher sometimes, and not even a drama teacher. Like you are brought The Crucible at a young age. This is an entertaining way to take that show in. Instead of sitting around and reading it, take a couple class periods, show them this production. It is beautiful, it's fun, it's brilliantly acted. The set is gorgeous. You will have an amazing time, and your students will thank you if you're a teacher. Here's the thing. If you're a young person listening to this podcast looking for more content, this is a great way to consume The Crucible with so many, and I mean so many, really, really cool adaptations of The Crucible. John Proctor is the villain, Abigail 1702, so many of them. You want to understand the original source text, and this is a great way to take it in. The Crucible, National Theater at Home, directed by Lindsay Turner. It is wonderful. Go check that one out. Those are 3 rad pro shots that you need to go check out with some free time. And that's our show. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Scene Podcast. A major thanks to our team at The Scene for bringing us out. We love doing this show. A huge thanks to KJ, the editor, the producer extraordinaire. A huge shout out to Liz Guttridge for being a part of the show. Make sure you check her out on TikTok. And if you want any updates on the show, make sure you follow me at Justin Borak on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok over at Mediocre Jokes for more theater content. We will see you next Monday for a whole nother episode. Oh, I'm so excited. And I'm going to end this episode the way I end every episode, by acting like every freshman doing their first scene in class and looking scared at their teacher and saying, and scene. See you next week.
The Scene Podcast is made possible by our host Justin Borak, our producer and editor KJ Lampar, and our executive producer Zach Dooley.
Special thanks to Liz Guttridge, Melissa Klein, and Zoe Dick for their special contributions to this episode. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts to stay up to date with our latest theater antics. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you again next time.